Folks, none of us like past baggage following us around. There's emotional baggage, there's airline baggage, and there's criminal stuff that follows people around. And it breaks my heart to get those calls from you that something happened 30 years ago and now you're being questioned about it. Now you've moved up to the ranks and all of a sudden people are holding it against you and nobody said a word about this 15 years ago. First of all, sealing and expunging is a great way to make sure that this stuff never comes up again, and you get to legally lie to most people and deny that it even happened once it's expunged. However, an expunge is not just filling out a form and then the court grants it. No, no, no. And we're going to talk about a lot of these things get denied, and we're going to talk about a recent denial in Caparizzo v. State. It's a 4th District Court of Appeal case. Came out recently, and he was denied his petition to expunge. Now, the prosecutor raised their right hand. They're like, look, Judge, Caparizzo has done everything, filed the forms, and is entitled by law to have this thing expunged. They go to a hearing, though, folks. Now, remember, I should rewind. Caparizzo's case was dropped by the state. It's called a no information notice. So this thing got dropped instantly. And that's always great when these things get dropped quickly. So at this expunge hearing, Caparizzo's facts are thrown to the court by the prosecutor. The judge is like, well, what happened? Why'd you guys drop this? Prosecutor's like, the victim didn't want it, was being uncooperative, and so we dropped it. This guy's a first offender, has no priors. But the judge is like, but these accusations are super egregious, prosecutor, based on what you're telling me, based on what I'm reading from the police report. Prosecutor's like, yeah, it's your discretion, judge, as to whether or not you want to grant or deny this. Well, the judge says, I'm denying this expunge. These facts are egregious. And Caparizzo, rightfully so, appeals that court's decision. It says, I think I'm entitled to have this thing erased. Now, here's the thing. First of all, it's kind of weird that now we're talking about this person and this case, and I don't know how that affects their expunge. But what we have here is an appellate court that says, look, Judge, your ability to deny and expunge is not unfettered, and you got to do one thing before you deny somebody an expunge. What is that one thing, folks? It's pretty simple. You have to base your denial on evidence. Now, what happened to Caparizzo during his hearing? There was no evidence presented. Zero evidence. Guess what, folks? The prosecutor telling the judge what they thought happened in the case is not evidence. The prosecutor handing the court the police report and the judge going, oh, this is egregious, is not evidence. This stuff is not evidence. It's not admissible. And therefore, the appellate court said, you know what, Caparizzo, you are 100% right. This judge should not have denied your expunge. Now, at this point, I was hoping the appellate court would be like, dude, your expunge is granted. We're erasing this. But you know what? They didn't. I think it's kind of a jerk move. What the appellate court, 4th DCA, said was, oh, we're going to remand this to the lower court. We want you to have an evidentiary hearing. We want you to present evidence, and then you can grant or deny it after the evidence is presented. So now this guy's got to go through this evidentiary hearing again. Folks, these things are not automatic. It is not filing a form and this thing is granted. I highly recommend you get an attorney involved to make sure these things go smooth. And I wish you luck on your expunges. Everybody should do this. Everybody should file a seal or expunge if they qualify, because you don't want this thing following you around. That's my 2 cents for today.